Hello, everyone. This is Tom Wagner, Land Lakes Director of Governance, Leader Development, and Staff Development. I work within the Member Relations Group. Thank you for taking time to view this short webinar regarding Land O'Lakes Dairy Equity Program. Changes to that program that were approved by the board in 2017 and how the changes might impact you. Recall that the board made the decision to increase the dairy equity target to ensure that we have the financial resources available to make investments that grow the dairy foods business. This webinar is being made available to all Land O'Lakes member relations staff and our dairy members. You're listening to a recording of this webinar, so you won't have an opportunity to ask questions in real time. We will provide contact information at the end of this webinar if you have additional questions about the Dairy Equity Program. We're pleased to have an expert presenter from our Treasury Department to review the Dairy Equity Program and answer some frequently asked questions. With that, I'll introduce our presenter, Mike Iverson of Treasury. Mike joined the internal audit team at Land O'Lakes in 2007, shortly after graduating from the University of Minnesota with a major in accounting. He has made several moves at Land O'Lakes and has held 5 different positions during his tenure. He's currently serving as the equity manager within Treasury and is responsible for managing our member equity accounts and distributing patronage back to our members. While working for Land O'Lakes, Mike earned his MBA from Bethel University. With that, Mike.
Thanks, Tom, and hello, everyone. I appreciate the opportunity to be here with you, and thanks for taking time to watch this presentation. Today, we'll cover the Dairy Equity Program approved by the board in 2017. Including changes in revolvement and the new Dairy Equity Target Program. I'll go through an example and then address FAQs. As always, you can contact me with your own questions using the information that appears at the end of this briefing. The board approved the new Dairy Equity Program with an effective date of January 1st, 2018. Now, we will discuss the changes to the Dairy Equity Program. The new program increases the equity target to $3.75 per hundredweight from $2.75 per hundredweight and pays members the following. 20% of patronage is paid in cash, with remaining 80% going to the member's equity account until the member's equity account reaches the $2.75 target. 50% of patronage is paid in cash, with remaining 50% going to the member's equity account when the member achieves the $2.75 target but does not achieve the $3.75 target. 90% of patronage is paid in cash, with the remaining 10% going to the member's equity account once the member's equity account reaches the $3.75 target. The retirement age lowered from 75 down to 70. The following requirements must be met to receive an age retirement lump sum payment. Once you are no longer an active member on the dairy farm, you can request a lump sum payment for your portion of the equity balance. You must be removed from the milk marketing agreement and no longer receiving milk checks or patronage checks. We will need a copy of your driver's license or photo ID as verification of the age requirement, along with a note indicating that you are no longer farming. The 10% retains are allocated back to members when they achieve the $2.75 target. In order to continue to reward members that achieved the $2.75 target historically, the board approved giving back the 10% holdback. What this means to you, you will receive 10% more patronage than you historically would have been given under the old program. The revolvement period is reduced from 12 years historically down to 10 years. The new revolvement period is for dairy members that quit shipping milk to Land O'Lakes on January 1st, 2018 or later. The 12-year revolvement program is still being used for past members that exited the dairy business before January 1st, 2018. This side-by-side comparison indicates how the Dairy Target Equity Program has changed from the 2017 calendar year to the 2018 calendar year. The equity target increased from $2.75 to $3.75. How does this impact your cash patronage? Historically, you received 100% cash at the $2.75 target. Now you will receive 50% cash at the $2.75 target. The 10% retains are given back to the member that achieves the $2.75 target. Historically, Land O'Lakes retained 10% of all dairy members' equity in order to grow the dairy business as well as cover any expenses that are related to dairy members. Everyone receives 20% cash patronage if they are below the $2.75 target. This has remained the same between the old and the new program. We are required by the IRS to distribute 20% patronage in cash to members. The revolvement period reduces from 12 years for members that exited the dairy business before January 1st, 2018, down to 10 years for members that exited the dairy business on or after January 1st, 2018. We will discuss the revolvement process on the next slide. The retirement age lowers from 75 down to 70. The requirements for receiving an age retirement have maintained the same. Proof of age, typically a driver's license, a note indicating that you are no longer an active farmer, you must be removed from the milk marketing agreement, and you also no longer are receiving milk checks or patronage checks. Let's take a deeper dive into revolvement. What is revolvement, you might be asking yourself? Revolvement is the payment of old equities. What are old equities? They are the non-cash patronage that you earn each year. Since we are no longer paying 100% cash patronage, a portion of your patronage will remain in your equity account. The equity will then be paid out over a 10-year period once you quit shipping milk to Land O'Lakes. The requirements for revolvement are simple. You need to quit shipping milk to Land O'Lakes. If you quit shipping milk to Land O'Lakes prior to 2018, your equity will be paid out through the Legacy 12-year program. The revolvement period for the new 10-year period begins with termination or retirement. For example, if you quit shipping milk in 2018, the 2018 patronage statement you receive in March 2019 will include your final patronage allocation from patronage earned on the 2018 milk shipments to Land O'Lakes. In addition, you will begin year 1 of the 10-year revolvement process. The first 2 years of the revolvement will be 0. Years 3 through 6 will pay out 10% of the initial equity value at the time of termination or retirement. Years 7 through 10 will pay out 15% of the initial equity value. Note, if any time during the 10-year revolvement cycle you reach the retirement age of 70, you will be able to request a lump sum age retirement payment. For accounts in a multi-name, you will only be eligible to redeem your portion of the equity in the account. For example, if you are a farm partnership and you owned 50% of the farm, you are eligible for 50% of the total equity. Now let's take a look at the patronage statement that you will receive in March 2019. The patronage statements have changed, and I will walk through the changes. This slide illustrates how the cash patronage percentage is calculated. The member's target equity amount is calculated by multiplying the CWT sold during the previous year to Land O'Lakes by 375. The 375 amount was approved by the Board of Directors in 2017. Next, we divide the prior year equity target balance by the CWT sold during the previous year to Land O'Lakes. This calculates the actual rate. For example, this account has $37,180 equity divided by the current units of 13,090 to get a 284 rate. Since this member's rate is 284, which is greater than the 275 target, they will receive a 50% cash patronage payment, meaning 50% of the total patronage earned for the year will be paid out in cash. In addition, since this member exceeded the 275 target, they will also receive the 10% retain allocation. This will be calculated on the next slide. The equity balance is accumulated over the course of the member's business with Land O'Lakes. Typically, a new member will take approximately 12 years to achieve the 275 target. This is calculated by taking 80% of the average patronage rate of 30 cents, which gets us 24 cents deferred patronage rate. Next, we divide the 275 target by the average deferred patronage rate, which is 275 divided by 24 cents, which gets us 11.46 or 12 years. And just to recap, it takes on average 12 years for a new dairy member to achieve the 275 target. The prior slide indicated that this member achieved the 50% cash patronage payment. The patronage calculation is created by multiplying the board-approved patronage rate of 26.13 cents times the units of milk sold to Land O'Lakes. The patronage allocation is then multiplied by the cash percent, which is 50% from the previous slide, as this member exceeded the 275 target. Since this member exceeded the 275 target, they will also receive the 10% retain allocation. This is calculated by multiplying the patronage rate of 2.9 cents times the units of milk sold to Land O'Lakes. The additional patronage allocation is then multiplied by the cash percent of 50%. The bottom of this patronage calculation indicates where you will be at in regards to the target if you shipped similar milk pounds next year. If you increase your milk volume, then you will receive more patronage, but you will be further away from the target. For example, if you increased your volume to 15,000 units, then your estimated target will be $39,091 divided by 15,000, which gets you a 261 rate. Conversely, if you reduce your volume, then you will receive less patronage and will be closer to the target. For example, if you decreased your volume to 10,000 units, then your estimated target will be calculated as follows: $39,091 divided by 10,000, which gets you 391 rate. In this example, the new equity CWT increased by 0.145 from the previous target. The 2018 actual rate was 284. We add the 15 cents, which is calculated by multiplying 50% times the patronage rate. And as you recall, the patronage rate was 26 cents plus the bonus of 2.9% retained, which is 30 cents. So half of 30 cents is 15. So we add 15 plus the 284 to get 299, which could be your target rate next year if you were to ship similar milk that you did in 2018 in 2019. The equity ownership section will be on the bottom of your patronage statement. This section replaces page 2 that was previously provided. This section displays the activity in your equity account. The beginning balance is the ending balance from the previous year or your January 1st, 2019 equity balance. The patronage allocation is added to your balance, and the cash patronage is reduced from your balance. The other section lists any items such as age retirement and estate payments, or stock issue or cancels during the year. The DF equity target previous balance is used to calculate your equity target for this patronage allocation. This is the first row on the equity ownership section. The DF equity target current balance on the right side is used to calculate next year's equity target. The patronage allocation is 100% taxable in the year that it is distributed. You will receive a 1099 PATR in January of the following year with this amount located in box 1. The cash patronage amount reduces your equity balance because this is the cash that you will receive for your patronage. You can access your equity ownership statement by going to the Land O'Lakes Inc. website. Click on Members, located in the top right corner next to the search button. Click on Leadership. Click on Equity Statement. This takes you to the member login. enter your username and password. You will need to enter in the dates for which you would like to review your equity statements. For example, if you want to view the 2018 equity statement, you would enter in 1/1/2018 to 12/31/2018. If you do not have a member account, you will need to sign up for access. From the equity statement screen, follow the step below. Click on Register Now button and follow the steps.
Thank you, Mike, for that excellent overview of the equity statement and the dairy equity program. Just to review, key points to remember are the changes to the dairy equity programs were approved by the board of directors and could affect your equity, and that changes to dairy equity will be included in your 2018 patronage statements that we're anticipating mailed March 2019, and that we will be speaking to a bit at our spring meetings. Thanks for that quick overview, and now we're going to go to some frequently asked questions, Mike, and you'll lead us through the answers. First question, what is the difference between cash and non-cash equity, Mike?
That is a great question, Tom. Patronage is distributed as cash and non-cash. The minimum cash patronage is 20% and 80% is added to the member's equity account. As I previously mentioned, 20% of patronage is paid in cash, with the remaining 80% going to the equity account until the member reaches the 275 target. Once the member achieves the 275 target, they will qualify for 50% patronage in cash, with 50% going to their account. Once the member achieves the 375 target, they will receive 90% cash patronage, with the remaining 10% going to their member's equity account. And they will receive 90% cash patronage once they've achieved the 375 target.
Our next question, what is the difference between active and inactive members, and why is there a delay for the start of equity payouts to the inactive members?
Active members are currently shipping milk to Land O'Lakes and are earning a patronage dividend for their milk shipments. Inactive members have discontinued shipping milk to Land O'Lakes and are not receiving any patronage allocations. Inactive members that discontinued shipping milk to Land O'Lakes in 2018 and the future will receive their equity over a 10-year period. This 10-year period was created to decrease the years of payout from a historical period of 12 years down to 10 years. And the payout is as follows, just to recap. Year 1 and 2 are 0%, years 3 through 6 are 10% of their equity balance from the time they terminated, and year 7 through 10 are 15% of their initial termination equity balance. There is a delay in the start of the equity payout because during year 1, the inactive members will receive their final patronage allocation, of which a portion of that will be paid out in cash patronage. In year 2, there will be no patronage allocation or no revolvement payment. In the final revolvement years, there will be a larger payout to accommodate the lower payment that they received in years 1 through 6. Even with the old 12-year program, some members received 0% in the first few years. Therefore, members will be impacted similarly. However, the period reduced from 12 down to 10 years, so you will receive your equity quicker than before.
Our next question, how can I transfer equity to a family member? For example, how can I transfer my equity to my son or my daughter? And when this happens as a new member, how long will it take to build up my equity?
Transferring equity to a family is an option. Please have the member complete an assignment of equity form which needs to be signed by all parties of the existing member dairy. All family members need to be included in the agreement in order for a transfer to be complete. Depending upon the amount of equity transferred will determine how close you are to your equity target. Typically, for a new dairy farm, it takes 12 years to reach the 275 target. This is based upon the patronage rates per year. For example, if the patronage rate is 30 cents, then 24 cents is added each year to their target. If you take 24 cents times 12 years, you will arrive at 288, which is above the 275 target. In year 12, they will receive the benefits of a member at the 275 target.
Our next question, what is the process to request an age retirement payment when I am part of a corporation or a partnership, Mike?
If you have reached the age 70 and are no longer an active member of the corporation or partnership, then you are eligible for the age retirement program. Please send a copy of your driver's license, your patron account number, percentage of ownership in the corporation partnership, and your social security number to the following email address, corppatronage@landolakes.com. We will then review your request and submit the request to the board for their review and approval at the next board meeting. The payment will follow shortly after the board's approval. If the account is in a farm partnership name, please provide all the owners' names, their addresses, their social security numbers, and their percentage of ownership in the farm. This information is needed to ensure the remaining equity balance is allocated correctly to the member owners of the partnership.
Another frequent question, Mike, is how and when do I pay taxes on my equity?
Sure, taxes are one of my favorite topics. You are responsible for paying 100% of your patronage allocation in the year that it is earned. For example, the 2018 patronage allocation is 100% taxable to you. This is distributed on March 2019 and will be included in the 2019 tax return. Land O'Lakes will send a 1099 PATR in January 2020 for the 2019 tax year. You are responsible to pay taxes on the entire patronage allocation, not just the cash patronage received. This is a very misconceived conception for our members.
And our final question, where does the money come from that goes into my equity account?
Well, it doesn't come from my wallet. The dairy business earns a profit from the sale of their dairy products. The margins that Land O'Lakes earns from those sales is given to the members as patronage. A portion of the patronage, 20%, is paid in cash, and the 80% is added to the member's equity account. The cash patronage payment will increase when the member achieves the 275 target, when they will receive 50% cash patronage. And when they achieve the 375 target, they will receive 90% cash patronage.
Very good, Mike. That completes our frequently asked questions. And again, thank you for going through this very complex topic in understandable terms. We're hoping that this was of use to you, and whether you are a staff member or a Land O'Lakes dairy member, please don't hesitate to contact Mike Iverson with questions. His information is provided on this final slide. Thanks again.